Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today's November 30th. This is my weekly shop update. So if you're here in the US, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving last week. If you're from somewhere else, I hope you had a good normal week and a good normal weekend. But if you're here in the US, I hope you enjoy a nice long weekend with your family. I know I did. I do every year. We host Thanksgiving here every year, so both sides of my family all descend upon my home for the long weekend. And it's just fun to have everyone together. Spending time together, playing games, cooking, eating, and just hanging out. So my dad and I, like always, we spent a good amount of time together. We got a big red oak log cut up out back, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But I also finished up the sideboard, which I am slightly more excited and happy about. I got that done the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so I was able to get the pictures and everything done Wednesday, and then on Thursday we had it in the house for, I guess we kind of use it as a display thing. So I put the turkey on there as well as some pies for the sort of like the in-the-house final shots of that thing, and it's really exciting. So let me show you what went into finishing up the sideboard last week.
Bananas are all wrapped up.
Yeah, they're kind of old, huh?
Dad, we can't eat the bananas when they're green.
Oh, well, when they're yellow.
Daddy, we can't eat them when they're green.
Yeah, but what if they're yellow?
They can be yellow and you can eat them.
Okay, good. What if they're black?
You can eat them.
Okay, so you can eat these ones.
There's a little yellow.
It's a little yellow, yeah. See, they're still good. There's still some yellow.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. So this is where the sideboard lives now, in our dining room. We had another like dresser type thing we had in here that was a little smaller that we used to store like tablecloths and placemats and stuff. But now Lindsay's moved all of that stuff into here. And what? There is a Christmas tree decoration, that's right. So functionally, a lot more storage in here, which is quite nice, and that's it. So it's quite nice to have that sideboard out of here. I have this whole back wall available again, which is nice. That's a big piece of furniture. It's 6 feet long, so it did take up a lot of space, and it's just nice to have a little more room in here once again. So as I mentioned, my dad helped me slab up the big red oak log that was in my driveway. It's been there since, I think, August. And we did that kind of as we had time throughout the 3 days that he was here. So on Thanksgiving Day, after we ate, we came outside and we got the log jacked up and put onto some walls so that the next day we could roll it onto the mill. And that was pretty fun. Took a little bit of positioning to get the log on there exactly where it needed to be, since this log is pretty much the absolute max cut length capacity of the saw. You could probably squeeze a few more inches out here or there, but this is it's enough struggle just to get it like perfectly positioned so the saw can enter and exit without going too crazy when something like this weighs like 6,000 pounds. So for practical purposes, this is the longest thing you can cut on this mill without building a track extension, which is totally fine because this is like 12 foot, I think it was 12'4", which is a pretty substantial piece of wood regardless. So I managed to make all the cuts, and my dad was around long enough to help me move, I think, the first 5 slabs onto the stack, which was great. And then after he had left during the week, I went out there a couple of times and used my trailer to finish stacking the rest of them, which worked out just fine, just perfectly fine. Both of us were mic'd the whole time, so I shot a whole video, both of us mic'd, So it's going to be a little bit different kind of video, I guess, than the typical things where he is a recurring character in. That was probably my favorite phrase. I forget who said it on Instagram, but they're like, your dad is my favorite recurring character in your videos. And that made me pretty happy, and I'm sure it makes him pretty happy. So he was mic'd the whole time, so you'll be able to hear his excitement with every cut and all of that. So I'll get it edited and released pretty shortly. But the last few days, I've been editing the sideboard summary video, so that is almost done, and that'll be out very shortly. So that's what I've been up to this week. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. First this week is a bar stool by David. It's made from Texas pecan with a dark walnut stain and polyacrylic water-based clear coat. The top is secured with Morrison tenons, and the legs with a no-shoulder Morrison tenon. The top was cut using a router, and he used a hand plane to chamfer the top edges. Next is a slab top table by Andrew. It's made from a live edge macrocarpa slab. It was cut down to size, sanded, and sealed with resin. It sits on a mild steel base with mitered corners and has a hammered finish paint. Next is a river table by Paul. It's made from a poplar log that fell down in his dad's yard. The roots had mostly rotted away, and the tree came down in some wind. The river is complete with rocks and river sand. Last this week is a workbench by Paul. The workbench is made out of 17 2x4s that he bought at the home center. This bench replaced his old one, which was full of glue and epoxy stains. And Paul has a video over on his YouTube channel about making this bench, so definitely check that out. So a couple of quick announcement type of things. So of course the sideboard was my most recent online instructional video class series thing. That's the 5th one like that I did. And if you want to check that out, I'll leave you a link to that. The next one will be starting in January, and that will be finally replacing this hand tool cabinet with something that's better suited for the tools that I have. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll leave you a link to that one as well if you want to check that out. And lastly, just a little bit of an announcement regarding the shop update. I am going to alter the format a little bit, or at least change one thing, or add one thing, I guess. I haven't done anything to the format for the last 3 years. The last thing I added or changed was the viewer projects, and I'm looking to add a new segment. Don't know if I'm going to call it anything, if it actually needs a name, but it's going to be more like a show and tell kind of thing. I get enough questions about products, and I get enough things sent to me, I guess, that I think you might be interested in. So having a little segment there that I have an actual place to sort of put some of that stuff is what that segment is going to be. So call it whatever you want. Show and tell, I tell you about something or something, answer some question. I don't know. But it'll be a little bit of a segment in the viewer be a little bit of a segment in the shop update on top of the viewer projects and what I'm up to and all that stuff. So look for that. I'll do the first one next week. So I think that's all I have for this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. There's also to be happy to answer your questions you might have. Until next time, happy woodworking.